language row in Tamil Nadu is intensifying. MK Stalin's fresh jibe at national education policy. In fact, he says we refuse to swallow NEP poisoning, demand linguistic equality. Demanding linguistic equality is not chauvinism, is something he has said in a social media post. He also goes on to say people of Tamil Nadu are treated as second-class citizens. Also saying people who glorify Godse is questioning the DMK, entitled bigots, branding as anti-nationals. So therefore, these are Stalin's fresh attacks over language, over alleged language imposition in the state of Tamil Nadu. In fact, this is a fresh swipe at the BJP. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister MK Stalin slamming critics for calling those opposing alleged Hindi imposition by the centre as chauvinists and anti-nationals. Sam is joining us. Sam, strong words there by MK Stalin. He says we refuse to swallow NEP poisoning, and also says demanding linguistic equality is not chauvinism.
Well, Radhika, this is a continuation of the well-established stand of be it the ruling DMK or the key opposition, the AIADMK, that Tamil Nadu is always for a two-language policy, teaching mother tongue Tamil to help children think through their mother tongue, and English to connect with the rest of India and around the world. And Stalin yet again slamming that any attempt to impose Hindi in any form is unacceptable. And to say Hindi is the national language, he says, is wrong. And there are 20 other scheduled languages, and Hindi is only an official language to communicate between the center and the state. And to call it a national language is completely wrong and unacceptable. And this comes amid the row between the ruling DMK and the center after the education minister at the center, Dharmendra Pradhan, said the 2,150 crore rupees due for Tamil Nadu as part of the ongoing Samagra Shiksha project would not be released unless the state government accepts the new education policy in its entirety, which MK Stalin has called it as blackmail, saying that this is coercion and this does not work this way in a democracy, particularly in a federal structure. On the other hand, the Union Minister for Education, Dharmendra Pradhan, says this is a conditional thing linked to the new education policy's implementation. On the ground, this has touched a raw nerve, saying that the stopping of funds by the centre has impacted lakhs of student welfare, also salary to teachers. But the Tamil Nadu government has said it will continue to support these programs through its own funds. And it's in this context, this yet another letter from MK Stalin is being seen. But the centre, of course, denies these allegations, saying that three-language policy is only encouraging learning mother tongue and then strengthening any of the Indian languages. Students are required not to learn Hindi, but any of the other Indian languages. But the ruling DMK and the opposition often argue that on the ground there are not enough teachers, and ultimately students would be tacitly required to settle for Hindi or Sanskrit. And they say with just the two-language policy, the state stands high in terms of the quality of education and in terms of the enrollment ratio, and this will not be acceptable in a democratic federal setup like India. The centre can recommend, but it can't impose this way.
Right, Sam, I believe the BJP has also launched a signature camp in order to make its stand clear. You also spoke to Annamalai. He says, going on to say that this is not really Hindi imposition, strict Hindi imposition as being claimed by the DMK. But take us through the arguments laid out by the BJP, by the centre, especially from the part of BJP in Tamil Nadu.
They say three-language policy is the need of the hour, particularly to help children connect within the country. If they have to travel from one state to another, it helps them. And this also reduces the dependence on foreign languages. They cite English. And in that sense, they say children are quite capable of learning a new language at a very young age. And this is only a capacity building mechanism, and it should not be seen as a burden On the other hand, the ruling DMK says nobody is stopping children from learning any additional language. They say in schools also children are allowed to learn, and they can either go for Hindi Prachar Sabhas to learn Hindi, or they can have their own way of learning. And that should be on a need-based system. It cannot be imposed. And imposing a third language in any state for that matter, they say, will only hinder development, could lead to school dropouts, increase in school dropouts, and this will not augur well. But their only point is that it should be optional. If someone has a need to go to a particular state, he or she travels. And they also point out in this era of technology, language learning and understanding any foreign language within the country or outside the country is just a Google away in that sense, using artificial intelligence technology. It can be real-time translation, real-time learning, and one does not have to impose learning. Otherwise, the same time and effort could be used for developing scientific temper to teach science and technology, which could actually elevate the standard of students to explore more employment opportunities or entrepreneurial ventures, they say in that sense. And they say through the history, Tamils have traveled around the world, have scaled greater heights, achieved greater positions, studying in government schools which have had a two-language policy, and to impose a system that is yet to be tested and proven, even in northern part of India, they say it's unacceptable, which the BJP denies. And now they have launched a signature campaign, hoping to get 1 crore signatures from Tamil Nadu, which they hope to present to the president to expose the groundswell of support for three-language policy, as the BJP calls it.
All right. Thank you, Sam, for getting us all those details. We are also joined by Narayan Tirupati, spokesperson of the BJP, as well as Salem Dharnidharan, spokesperson of the DMK. Mr. Tirupati, to you first. We just spoke a while ago. DMK there, in fact, MK Stalin, they're saying that a state's demand for linguistic equality doesn't amount to a chauvinism. Rather, chauvinism is naming crucial laws in Hindi and refusing funds to Tamil Nadu and for not implementing national education policy. So how would you react to all of these strong remarks made by MK Stalin?
No, it is very surprising that, Mr. Stalin says this. What is the amount spent by the Tamil Nadu government to spread the Tamil? That is what we are asking. Because the states were divided linguistically, and Hindi is an official language. That is from the parliament. It is in the constitution. So the central government spends on that. Sanskrit has got no mother. No one has got the mother tongue as Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is being done by the central government. What is that the state government, the Tamil Nadu government or DMK has spent? In fact, DMK has spoiled Tamil by fixing Appa, the new app. See, absolutely, they are writing everything in English. They are writing Tamil in English. That is what the DMK has done. The DMK has destroyed and demolished the Tamil, and they have no moral right to talk about Tamil. See, nobody is compelling, no imposition. The three-language formula very clearly says it is only optional. As Sam Daniel said, it's only optional. What is your problem? And your children and your schools run by your own party man has got three languages in all schools. And why do you compel the poor rural students to study only two languages? That is what we are asking.
Right. Mr. Dharnidharan, let me take this question to you. Here you heard the BJP spokesperson there, Mr. Tirupati, saying they're just encouraging learning other languages, including Hindi. Mother tongue importance, of course, will be given, but there is no compulsion, as is being alleged.
See, firstly and foremost, the problem is much more broader. The problem as such is the broader problem is that you can't have one fit solution for the entire country. The states of this country are profoundly diverse in terms of socio-economic growth. Right? Some states are as developed as maybe Eastern European countries, and some states are doing only as much as Sub-Saharan African countries. So each state should have tailor-made solutions. That is point number one. Point number two, education being in the concurrent list, there has been consensus between the states and the union government. So NEP as such cannot be forced on the states. It was initially not forced, but now by not releasing funds for SSA, linking it to NEP, is again against the democracy and also the federal ethos of this land, right? So, and thirdly and foremost, Tamil Nadu has been having a successful two-language policy. Why do you want to change a model that's been successful, right? And pertinent point is, even in North Indian states, I don't think people are learning 3 languages. They're learning only 1 language, which is Hindi. Look at the percentage of people speaking Hindi, English in UP is much lower than maybe people speaking English in south of India, because we are learning English to communicate with the rest of the world and rest of the Indian states. But so I don't understand why we can't use English as a language to communicate with the other parts of the country and other parts of the world, when English anyways is the official language of the Indian government, and the Union government works in English.
Mr. Tirupati, since he is with us. Mr. Tirupati, Mr. Dharnidharan is making some important points there. He says, one, no consensus between state and centre on education policy. There's issue with funding. And this 2-language policy model has been successful. So why this compulsion to bring this 3-language policy? People are comfortable speaking in English, not so much in Hindi. These are the arguments being made by the DMK.
See, Tamil Nadu has got the highest number of CBSE schools in entire India, only Delhi and Haryana, 1,625 schools. That means in all these schools, children are learning 3 languages. So the concept or the policy, what they say, the DMK says, that Tamil Nadu is following a 2-language policy, is itself wrong. It's totally wrong, because more than 50% of the students, Tamilians, are studying a 3rd language. So you mean to say, do they mean to say that those who are studying in private schools are not Tamilians? That is wrong. And the second thing is that he say regularly these people say that, often they say that in other states they are reading only 1 language or 2 language. Every state has got a 3-language formula, including Kerala, Karnataka, Bihar, UP. Everyone has got a 3-language formula. How dare they say that North Indians are learning only 1 language? This is totally wrong. It's a lie. It's a blatant lie what these people are doing.
Right. Right, Mr. Dharnidharan, how do you respond to this?
Firstly and foremost, there are 80,000 schools in Tamil Nadu per data, and about 1,500, lesser than 1,500 schools are CBSE schools, which translates to about less than 2%. Even in these private CBSE schools, it's not that Hindi is being imposed. There are 2 languages, and people can choose whichever language they want as their second language. They can either choose Tamil, French, or German. And again, like CBSE 11th and 12th, I don't think there is any board exams for 11th and 12th. Right? You got me? So they're not for language as a board exam in CBSE. So I think it's a lie that they're saying. Even when I went to school, there were in a private school, the second language was optional. Either whoever wants Tamil could choose Tamil, whoever wants French can choose French, whoever wants to study Telugu can study Telugu, whoever wants to study Hindi can choose Hindi. But here, the indirect imposition is the problem, or direct imposition is the problem. That's what we are against. Even the Hindi Prathmik exam, Tamil Nadu has the highest number of takers. That we have not discouraged. Leave alone, right? So the problem is only direct or indirect imposition. I think no one has got that point, what the DMK or the Tamil Nadu government is trying to say. That is, we are not against any language. We are only against direct or indirect imposition of any language.
So, Mr. Tirupati, would you agree this is direct or indirect imposition, and that is what the DMK and many other parties are against? That's what they are saying. That they're saying that the BJP or the centre is not getting the point that the DMK and several other regional parties in South are trying to make.
No, I don't agree, because you are talking about number of schools. I am talking about number of students. They may have a lot of, in Tamil Nadu we may have a lot of government schools, but in many government schools even some 10 children, 20 children are studying. Only 100, 120 are studying. You tell me any school with the exact numbers? No, it is not there. Even at some schools you don't even have teachers. Some schools you have only 1 teacher. This is the problem. The education system, the quality of the education has totally dropped. That is the problem. We are only asking why you are denying the right for the poor government school students their right to learn a 3rd language, while others are reading, learning. Your own schools and your children are learning 3rd language. Why that is being? If I dare these people to say that in Tamil Nadu no 3rd language is allowed, any schools, let Mr. Stalin come out with that.